So as part of SCD type 1, so in the previous session, I have explained the theoretical part of it, right? So SCD type 1 meaning whenever we say any table where we are doing this SCD type 1 loading is meaning we are maintaining the latest data in the target table. We are maintaining latest data in the target table. So whatever the record which is coming from source, we should do lookup on the target table, means we should check in the target table whether the record coming from source already exists or does not exist in the target table. If lookup condition matches, it's going to give the value. If lookup condition does not matches, it's going to give the null value. If lookup is giving null value, meaning the record coming from source does not exist in the target table. So then we have to make that as a new insert. If record is already exist and if there is any change, so then we have to do an update, right? So there are two ways to do that. Okay, so insert else update. So there are two ways to do that. So the first, let me create one simple table because I don't want to take the big table. I don't want to take the big table because if the number of columns are more, then you will be get confused. So that's why I'm just taking a simple table. I'm just creating it. Name, number. Office. Okay. And I'm creating one more table with the same structure as I mentioned. There are two ways to do that. So our first way is if we need to make sure whatever the columns which are there in the target table, those should be present in the source table, or those should be having proper match should be coming from the source table. So one is the very easiest option. The other one is little complex option. Okay, so first let me explain the easiest option, how to do update else insert, and then we'll go to the complex one. Okay. In the EMP table, I'm just creating one record. Okay, I'm just creating one record. Okay. Now let me go to Informatica integration. So the way what I'm showing right now is we have to follow only when both target table and source tables are having same structure and target table does not having any key columns. Target table does not have any key columns. Okay. Now let me create a new mapping. Now let me select the source. What is my target? Source table is EMP is my source table. First, we need to identify the natural key column. So for whenever people are going to tell you to do SCD type 1, the first thing that what you should do is what is the primary key column or what is the natural key column? Okay, what is the grain of the table or what is the granularity of the table? First, we should ask the team. Okay, we should identify that. Okay, meaning, so on which column combination where we are getting the unique data from the source, on which column combination where we are getting the unique data is what? Grain of a table or granularity of a table. Okay, let us assume that in our example, number is the primary key column or natural key column. On this, we will be having unique data. In real time, we need to identify either we need to ask the team members or we need to ask the person who prepared the mapping document, or we need to put trial and errors. Like, we have to apply, we have to prepare the source query. On top of it, we have to we have to see whether on which column combination where we are not getting the duplicate data. So we have to use all those columns into the lookup condition. So basically, so for now I'm just keeping number 10. I think I should let me show that. Now the target directly system, let's say emp underscore tgt is my target table. And the only option is upset. Just select the upset option. When we select the upset option, just add the update column. So update column is whatever the natural key column that we have. So that is an update columns. Okay, just mention that number column. Save it.
Number column is a unique key column, right, Bhaskar?
Unique key column, yes. Number column is unique key column. So for every table, whenever we do this, as I mentioned, first we need to identify what is the grain of a table or what is the granularity of a table. So this is the very simple way of doing it. Now let me run it. Just select the upset option, and in the update columns, you just select the key columns on which we will be having unique data. Let me go to view jobs. This subset option is going to do is, so if record which is coming from source, so based on the update columns that we have selected, it will look whether we have match or not. If condition matches, it will just update it. It will condition does not matches, it will just insert it. Okay, but it is not going to change. It is not going to check whether the record which is coming from source and target are having any difference. It's not going to check is there any difference between the source and target record if the source record is already exist in the target table. So with this offset option, what it is going to do, blindly condition does not matches, insert the record. Condition matches, update the record. So that's how it is going to do. This is the drawback of using this particular option, offset option. See, we have the value in the target table. Now let me update this record with Bangalore, and let me also add a new record. So I have added one record and I have updated the one existing record. Okay. Now what is going to happen? Now when I execute the same job again, it will not look for is there any change between source and target or not. It will blindly look if record exists or does not exist. If record does not exist, it will insert the data. If record already exists, it will update the data. Okay, so these two records came from source and two records went to the target table. Now let me go to the target table. The existing record is updated, new record got inserted.
Bhaskar, how can we identify now? Here we have manually updated as a Hyderabad to Bangalore. So it was an update record, and we have inserted new record. So in real time, we'll get multiple records, right? So how can we find this is an update record and this is an insert record?
Exactly. So with this option, by using this upset option, we will not be able to identify with this which record is updated, which record is inserted. Okay. So that is the reason. So we have to follow a different approach. So this approach mainly for interviews, and so very rarely we are going to use this approach. So some people says that no, you should do this one only. That time only we have to use, because even if there is, let's say there is a 1 million data in the source, okay, out of that only 5,000 records are having a change. Then when we use this subset option, all the 1 million data will go to the target, either it will do insert or update. Ideally, so there are only 5,000 records which are having a change, either insert or update is there only for these 5,000 records, not for 1 million data, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
we
yes.
should. So what is the point? There is no value added to update the same value, update the same record with the same value. So there is no, it's of no use. Unnecessarily we are wasting our time, because it will take to 1 million data to update meaning, so it will take 1 hour or 2 hours time. Okay, so why do we need to do unnecessarily, like, the same records again and again every day? We don't need, right? So ideally we should not, we don't need to do that. Okay, so that is the reason we need to see the record which is coming from source is already exist in the target table or not. If it is exist, so if it is not exist, we have to send it for insert. If it is exist, then we will have to compare the source column with the target column. If condition matches, sorry, compare the source column with the target column. If there is any change, if there is any change, then only we should send that record for update. Otherwise, we should not send that record for update. We should discard it if there is no change between source and target values. Okay, how to do that? So whenever we wanted to do such kind of an approach, we need to have mandatory fields. Okay, let me drop this table. So we need to have a dimension key column, and created date, last updated date. Okay, we need to have these mandatory fields. Okay, whenever we see SCD type 1 implementation, okay, so then we need to have dimension key should be there, and created date and last updated date also will be there. So these are the mandatory columns. This created date and last updated date, I will say it's an audit field, and dimension key is a surrogate key column which is going to have the sequence numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So ideally there will be a primary key constraint will be defined on top of this dimension key column, but I'm not creating it because the sequence, when I have explained about sequence transformation, it is not incrementing after the execution. It is again starting from 1 for every execution. So that is the reason I'm not adding the primary key. Let us see. Now go to the mapping. First, we have to get all the data from source. Now our source table is EMP table, and then we have to do lookup on the target table. Do lookup on the target table. When we do lookup on the target table, source and target will be having same name, same field names. So to avoid that, just rename all the fields which is coming from source, prefix with src underscore. Prefix with src underscore, so that all the fields will be renamed to src underscore source fields. Okay, now go to the lookup object. Select the lookup table. Do lookup on target table. Because in the target table only we need to see the record which is coming from source is already exist or does not exist. Now we have to give the lookup condition. So number is the natural key column combination. So as I already mentioned, we need to identify the natural key combination on which we have the unique data. On which we have unique data. So we have to use those columns in the lookup condition. So in the return fields, why there are the existing. Okay, I did not create it yet. I've recreated the table. Now let me refresh the structure. Okay, so dimension key will be there. Name, number, address also will be there. Create a date and last updated date will be there. From the lookup, these two fields we don't need to take it. You can just delete them. Okay, because we just need to delete these two audit fields. We don't want to get these columns. To the next transformation. So once we do lookup on the target table, then add an expression here. So in the expression, we have to write certain conditions. Okay, first in the incoming fields, first we should rename. Just click on plus symbol. Select the lookup fields. Select all the lookup fields, whatever are coming from lookup, and rename them LKP underscore, so that we will understand which is the lookup column and which is the source column, right? So here we have src underscore. So this we have renamed in the lookup transformation, and the above ones are coming from the lookup table. So that's why we have renamed in the expression. Now go to the expression. So here we have created date and last updated date, right? So since we have created date and last updated date, so we have to populate the sysdate for them. Created date. Last updated date. And for created date and last updated date, we just need to populate sysdate. So created date is to see when this record got created. Last updated date is going to see when the latest transaction was happened on that particular record. Okay, and then we have a function called MD5 function. Okay, so this MD5 function is going to generate 32-bit hexadecimal value. Okay, 32-bit hexadecimal value it is going to generate. So now we have to use source MD5 and target MD5, because now we have only three columns here in the source table or target table. But in real time, if you see, there will be some 20 columns, 50 columns, 100 columns. Okay, so is there any change between source and target? To compare that will take, it will be very difficult, like if you are going to mention individual columns. So in order to avoid that, we are going to use MD5 function. For that, I'm going to just create a variable field, and v underscore src underscore MD5 string. I'm just giving us 32. So this is the common mistake everyone is going to do in real time. Okay, when we select the data type, we have to mention the precision as 32 or more. So it should not be less than 32. And in the source MD5, we have to use this MD5 function, which is going to generate 32-bit hexadecimal value. Non-key columns we have to add. So this number is used for the join condition. We don't need to add it. And then address, I'm just adding it. If not, we can add that also. There is no rule, but we need to see the data type. So whatever the columns that we are using in the MD5 function, all of them should be string columns only. So if any non-string columns are there, we have to use toChar to convert them into a string field. If at all there is any date field, so we have to use toChar function and to convert that from date value to a string value. Now validate. Again, one more variable field for target. So for every record, this MD5 function is going to generate 32-bit hexadecimal value. If both source value and target value are same, then MD5s are going to be also same. If there is any difference between source and target, then the MD5 also is going to be generated different. So source MD5 column order and target MD5 column order should be exactly same. Name, concat, number, concat, address. toChar of number. Okay. So this is the step-by-step process that we will have to follow. Then insert flag. Which record should go for insert? So I'm just generating a insert flag here. What is the insert flag condition? If is null of lookup dimension key. If the lookup value is null, then just mark it as I, else no. Okay, is null of lookup dimension key. Lookup dimension key is null, then we need to understand this is a new record which is coming from source. For update condition, for update flag, so we have to write one more if condition. If not is null of lookup dimension key. Not is null of lookup dimension key and source MD5 not equal to target MD5. Source MD5 not equal to target MD5. So this source MD5 and target MD5 will be different only if there is any difference between source value and the target value. If there is no difference, then this MD5 values will be same. MD5 function is going to generate the same value. If there is any difference, not is null of lookup value means not is null only will come only if condition matches. If condition matches, then only lookup is going to give the value. So when the lookup is giving the value, meaning it is a not null value. Mark it as U, else N. Let's validate. Now we have created. So these are the common fields, even in real time also. So these 6 fields will be common. Apart from that, you will be having any transformation logic that you might need to apply in the expression. But apart from that, these 6 are the mandatory and common expressions that we are going to do it in the expression transformation immediate after lookup. Okay. Now, after expression, we have to take a router. We have to take a router. So in the router transformation, we have to create So in the incoming fields, we can exclude the incoming fields. Apart from lookup dimension key, rest all the fields we can exclude them, which is coming from source. Sorry, which is coming from lookup table. So we just need only the lookup dimension key from the lookup transformation. Now go to output groups, create two groups. One group is for insert, the other group is for update. So the record which is coming from source, in which operation should perform. One group is for insert, the other group is for update. Insert flag equal to _insert flag equal to I. This is the _insert flag equal to I is the value that we have given in the expression for the insert flag expression. So from this group, only the record should go only when if _flag update flag equal to U. So when the _update flag will be U, if there is any change between source and target, and if the record is already exist in the target table. Now we have created two groups. Insert to one, we have to select to the target. So we have to use sequence transformation here, because we have a surrogate key column and we have to use sequence column here. So in the sequence column, in the sequence transformation, which is going to be used to populate the sequence number. So usually in real time, if the same table is loading with multiple mappings, we will be creating a shared sequence. If not, we are going to have a sequence which will be dedicated to this particular mapping. So by using sequence, we can have the next value. With that next value, we can connect to the target. To the target, the first option we are doing is insert, right? Don't enable truncate table option. Okay, so this is the insert group. The record is coming, whatever the record which is coming from this group, that should blindly do insert. I mean the field mapping, sorry, in the target fields, the existing fields are there. I'm just refreshing it. Okay, dimension key is there, name, number, address, created date, last updated date. So this next value will be dimension key, and then that's all the columns. We can just the source name to the name, source number to the number, source address to the address, _created date is for created date, _last updated date is for updated date. So this is the insert flow. Okay, so dimension key will be the sequence value, sequence generated number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now get one more target. Instead of taking this target, take one more target. So for this one, we don't need to have any sequence value because we are doing an update here. On the same table, we are doing an update here. So operation should be update, and update columns, we have to add dimension key column as update column, because dimension key is the key value that we are getting from source. Okay, so either we can use dimension key or we can use the columns in the join condition, lookup join condition. Either of that we can use it. So for now, let me use this dimension key in the field mapping. Lookup dimension key, the dimension key, because this is the key column that we selected. name, number, address. We should not connect created date. We just need to connect only the last updated date, because this is an update flow. In the update flow, we just need to populate only the fields which are related to the update. This is for target update. This is for insert. Okay. So this is how the data flow is going to be. This is how the mapping flow is going to be, not the data flow, mapping flow. Get all the data from source, do look up on the target table based on certain condition, and in the expression, so create output ports for insert flag, update flag, source MD5, target MD5, and create a date, last updated date, and take a router, create two groups, one for insert, one for update. In the insert group condition, keep insert flag equal to I. In the update group condition, update flag equal to U. And then you take a sequence for inserting record, because we have a dimension key field, and which is an auto populated value, that is a surrogate key column, and then do the field mapping. Now save it. So with this, what is happening here? We are restricting the records which does not having any match. In the previous approach, we are not restricting anything. Here we are restricting it. Okay. Now, since we have dropped and recreated, this table does not having any data. Now let me execute. This selected object for target location does not having any key column. Okay, so even though I just mentioned here update key column, so it is asking for primary key. Primary key is not defined on this particular column. So we have to define the primary key. We have to define the primary key. Now I'm just dropping recreated. Also, just synchronize the target fields. Ideally, there is no change in the fields, but it will be always good to synchronize the fields. Now save it. Now let me run it, because I have added a primary key constraint. Select an update column. We have target. Let me put number also here. Let us see. This number is the column that we have used in the join condition, lookup join condition. So here if you see, so from source we got two records, and in the target, two records went onto the insert. Two records got inserted here. When this record got created, when this record got last updated date, and dimension key also it is created 1 2. Now there is no change in the source table. I'm just executing again. Just executing without doing any change. So ideally, there should not be any insert or update. The record should read from the source, but it should not do any update or insert, as there is no change in the source data. the mapping is success. From source there are 2 records read, but 0 insert, 0 updates. Inserts 0 because there is nothing is happening here. Now let me update. Okay, so this address, Bhaskar address, number 10 address, I have updated with Pune, and I'm inserting as a new record. Yes. Okay, I'm just inserting a new record. Okay. So now what I did, I just updated one record, inserted one more record. Now one record should go for insert, one record should go for update, and one more record should not happen anyway. Anything should not happen for the other record because there is no change in it. Just restarting it. There is a warning here. What is the warning? This is an expected warning. Okay, so the sequence is getting resetting every time. Ideally, it should not supposed to reset, but it is resetting every time. So that is because we are using in the local machine. Okay, but in real time, see this record went onto the target. This record went onto the insert flow, and one record went onto the update flow. Okay, so the existing record, if there is any change, then only this mapping is allowing to insert. Otherwise, it is not. It will allow to. If there is no difference, then it is discarding that because we have added the conditions like that. Any question? Anyone having any question here? Because the source MD5 and target MD5, it is going to generate the same value. See, if at all you have any doubt, for example, when you are doing this mapping, the records are keep going for update. Records are keep going for update. You are not able to identify why these records are going for update. And you see here, right? When you see the last updated date, you will get to know when this record got last updated. See 7/26/23 when this record got inserted. 7/23. So before 3 minutes, this record got inserted. This is last updated value. Okay, the records are keep updating it. Now what you should do is you just need to put a filter in the source just for testing purpose. Then go to this expression, click on preview. Click on preview so that this will tell us if at all there is any difference between the source value and target value, just to see how this expression transformation is doing for every record. Because if source is having thousands of data or millions of data, then if you do preview, it will take more time. So that's why we have to restrict to get only few records from source, so that we will get to know what exactly is happening here. See, these are the source fields, and lookup is having a match, and insert flag, update flag. See, this record number 30 does not exist, so that's why insert flag is coming as I. And the records 10 and 20, which are already there, and there is no difference between any of the field. Since there is no difference between any of the field, so the update flag is N, because if there is any difference between these two fields also, the update flag will be Y. Okay, let me just do one update in the source table. Bangalore. I just updated one record. So let me rerun the preview. So in the preview, we will get to know. So this we will call it as debugging. How to debug the mapping? Meaning we will, for every transformation where we'll be having a preview option. So by seeing the preview, we will understand how the data flow is happening in this particular transformation. See now, since there is a change here, from source we are getting value as Bangalore, but in the lookup we have the value as Pune. That means in the target table we have the value as Pune. So that's why update flag is U. So this number 30 is not at all there in the target table. So that's why lookup value is null value. Hence, insert flag equal to I. Okay, so like that for every transformation, where we'll be having a preview option. So we can see the preview for every transformation. So this like sequence or some transformations will not allow for preview, but apart from that, rest all the transformations will be having this preview option. We can click on this preview for every transformation, and some of them which are not supported, that this preview option it will directly show there. So this preview option is not supported here like that. So this is about SCD type 1 implementation. See, this is the common interview question. So people are going to ask you, so can you explain the transformation flow of SCD type 1? Which all the transformations are going to be used in SCD type 1, and what is the purpose of each transformation? So people are going to ask this question. So you have to explain. You have to write this is the flow that will be there in the SCD type 1, and then these are the transformations that we are going to use. Okay, so this is the usage of each transformation. So you have to explain that.
Bhaskar, I have one doubt. In expression, we have added the created date as a system date, right? In real time, we have a 10,000 records. So each records has been created 1 year back now. So how can we do that process?
See, the created date is meaning when we are inserting this record in the target table. So this created date is meant for the target table is the audit field. Okay, so when exactly this record coming from source is being inserted. So when the record is inserted in the source table doesn't matter for us. Now when we are inserting into the target table, so when we are executing today, so today's date needs to be there. When we are going to execute tomorrow, tomorrow's date should be there.
Okay. And we have one more conditions, right? Update and insert condition. So how can we mention in the target table? Like now we have only the 3 columns. So I need to add one more column, like it should be as IRN. It should be populated like that. Because
Yeah,
now, as
flag
of now,
field.
we don't have that option, right?
Flag field, we can just add a flag field and we can just connect it. Usually we'll be having this del flag, sorry, active flag will be there. Okay, which is the active record YRN that we are going to populate usually in real time. Okay, but since we are doing in SCD type 1, we will not be having that active field.
Oh, in SCD type 1, we don't have that option.
We will not be having, because all the records what we have are active records only. We will not be having any inactive records because we are not maintaining any history here. In SCD type 2, we are going to maintain history. So in that table where we'll be having this active flag, which is going to tell us which is the active record and which is the inactive record.
Okay, Bhaskar. Got it. So you will be explaining on STD type 2. That
In the
concept.
SCD type 2, we'll be having the active flag. So which is going to tell us which record is active record, which record is an inactive record. So that we are going to put a filter. When we are selecting the data from the target table, we'll just put active flag equal to Y. Because we are not going to take all the data from the source from the table, we will just put a filter on active flag equal to Y.
Okay.
Any questions, anyone?